Many people wonder how Blackgoogoo came to be what he is today. Most of those misconceptions are that a normal baboon fell into the goo that Blackgoogoo has and he turned into Blackgoogoo, but that is not the case. Every day, a man went on the computer to check the cameras, and he found a spot where Blackgoogoo's ink was, and he checked there every single day to make sure there was no changes, and for 20 years, there was never a single change. Every single day he worked at the factory, not a single change. Now, the ink that Blackgoogoo left behind actually meant something. If the goo was thicker, that meant that Blackgoogoo was changing and he would start to get bigger. If it was thinner, then he still stayed the same. Now, when he took the pictures, he actually took pictures of Blackgoogoo himself while he was in his small state. He just couldn't take videos because there was no such technology back then. Now, the pictures displayed here are Blackgoogoo, what he used to look like, and what he looked like 20 years ago. Now, the scientists actually took the pictures by waiting for the monsters to go to sleep and then took pictures of them while they were sleeping. Now, one of the obvious questions is, how did he grow? And that's what I'm about to tell you. So, there's actually goo around the factory, and you guys would be thinking that originally came from Blackgoogoo, but no, Blackgoogoo basically came from this stuff. So what happened was that the stuff like the ink is just really moldy, like basically moisture in the air from the factory. But since that factory has existed for so long, there's been black puddles with mold in it that has been starting to form around the factory. Now, some scientists accidentally spilt some type of chemical onto the goo, and because nobody wanted to clean it up after that, it just stayed there until it eventually formed into this tiny little goo pile that was actually able to manipulate itself around. Now, that goo pile actually started to move around slowly until it became the size that you can see in these pictures. Now, obviously, it grew, so you'd be wondering how it grew without the scientists noticing. Well, the scientist actually took a break from this for 5 years, and once he got back, he realized that the goo looked way thicker in the video, and I'm about to play the video that he realized, and then he goes upstairs to see it, and then he takes pictures with that I will show. So here you go, here's the video. Now, after this, he goes upstairs to check on Blackgoogoo, and yeah, he definitely grew. And the sound that he made got way bigger and way higher pitch because now he can make a bigger sound. Now, actually, when he was the smallest entity in the game, he actually made the littlest of sound than the other monsters, but now that he's the biggest monster in the game, he's actually the loudest monster. And yes, he is louder than White. Now, obviously, the scientist is extremely confused at this point because at this time he doesn't know how Blackgoogoo grew, but basically, in a drawn-out way, this is how. Okay, so first it starts out as moisture, and then it starts to mold, and as it continues to mold, it starts to become green, and then it starts to become like even black. There's so much mold. Then the scientists spilled the chemicals on the mold, and it turned into early Blackgoogoo, developing Blackgoogoo, late Blackgoogoo, early Blackgoogoo, Blackgoogoo, and Blackgoogoo. They all sound the same, but they're still different. And as you can see, the last one is way bigger than all of the other ones. And then just for a side-by-side comparison, here is both of the Blackgoogoos, the sort of early Blackgoogoo, and then the just Blackgoogoo we have today. Okay, so I'm sorry the voice on this sounds like really weird and it sounds really bad, but that's because I'm recording this on a mic that is, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty old. But tell me in the comments if you want what monster should I do next, or you can tell me like the lore of the game itself, the lore of like the updates, lore of even specific items or rooms, pretty much anything. Like you could tell me like the lore of a freaking spatula and I'll do it. But tell me what thing I should do next in Scary Baboon, and thank you. Goodbye.